this week's best MMA bets. We're talking UFC Vegas 76, and I'm confident. I got the shades on, feeling good. Looking forward to talking about the most confident picks, my favorite underdogs on the card, the underdog lock of the week. We'll talk prop/value bets and then finish it out with the parlays. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on and make sure to share the video as well. Last week's lock, it was no contest territory. Tafa's eyes got gouged and we didn't get to see him and Austin Lane fight. I was confident as hell in a Tafa knockout. I was looking forward to cashing that lock. Unfortunately, some Krav Maga by Austin Lane. He gets out of the fight with a no contest. We see Tafa's eyes close. It was a horrifying eye gouge. It was one of the worst ever. But it's all right. We're coming back with fire this week. Let's start it off. Most confident picks for UFC Vegas 76. Let's first talk Damir Ismagulov. He is number one. I'll bring them all on the screen per usual, and you can see them all here. But Ismagulov is going to be the first one that I go in details about for the reason that he is a very good value line. And I know a lot of people are Team Grant Dawson. They really think that he's going to beat Damir. And I've, read speculation from people. Oh, Damir Ismagulov's not going to be motivated to fight. He's just trying to get out of his UFC contract. That's why he retired. Yada, yada, yada. Damir Ismagulov's not a fighter that's coming out to lose, especially not to Grant Dawson. Dawson's a good wrestler, and he's a bully on the ground. He controls people extraordinarily well. Ismagulov is not someone that gets bullied. Dawson hasn't been in there with anyone like Ismagulov. Yeah, Arman Tsarukyan got the better of Damir last time out and was able to out-grapple him. But Arman Tsarukyan is levels up from Grant Dawson, and I think a lot of people are comparing the wrestling capabilities of Tsarukyan to that of Grant Dawson. Arman, different level. Ismagulov still top tier in my opinion. Note that the stand-up level difference is extremely vast, whereas Arman Tsarukyan is a pretty capable kickboxer. Grant Dawson in this fight is in trouble on the feet. He does not have the striking game to match Ismagulov. Now, Ismagulov is a guy that can comfortably get to decisions by picking his opponents apart, has pretty quality grappling defense, and I really feel as though Dawson will have some moments of success, maybe controlling against the cage, but he's losing this fight. Ismagulov to win it, I think probably on the judges' scorecards, it wouldn't be out of this world if Ismagulov was able to put his strikes together and get a knockout on the feet because he's way better standing up than Grant. Minus 110, it's an even money line. It's a very high confident even money pick here. I like that minus 110. I think Ismagulov, you go the money line side if you're throwing down on this one. Probably goes long. I will read off Ismagulov by decision. It sits at plus 130. And actually the KO prop for Ismagulov at plus 650. But Ismagulov, he's a pretty patient fighter, and obviously Grant Dawson is primed. And it's going to be a difficult fight. But I think Ismagulov shines here. He works off his jab better than the vast majority of fighters inside of the UFC. And I think he's taken out Grant Dawson in this matchup. So that is most confident pick, number one. Next one, the value is not as sweet. We got Ismael Bonfim. He's around minus 310. He's a large favorite. I think he's going to knock Benoit Saint-Denis out. I know a lot of people out there believe in the toughness of Saint-Denis, and he is incredibly tough. But Bonfim, to me, is a special striker, and he does have a well-rounded skill set. I see Benoit Saint-Denis looking to control him, but he has one option. He can only grapple with him. In the striking, he's a dead man. Can he control Bonfim for 3 rounds? I don't see Bonfim getting bullied by Saint-Denis. Maybe Saint-Denis gets a takedown on him, Bonfim bounces up, and then they're forced to strike, and Bonfim is going to continue to beat him up as Saint-Denis shoots. I think he's live to get caught with a flying knee and put to bed. I like Bonfim a lot here. Now, the knockout prop is sitting at plus 180 for Bonfim KO. Yes, the money line is wide, but I am confident he wins this fight. I do think KO, ultimately, money line's always safer because Benoit Saint-Denis took a beating from Elizeu Zaleski, survived it. Granted, The referee probably should have stopped the fight. But regardless of that fact, we know Benoit Saint-Denis is extremely tough. Bonfim to win, the money line, not the juicy value that maybe you're looking for, but definitely something to consider in the parlays. And I am calling knockout as the official prediction here. Now, next on the most confident pick section, we'll bring up another wide favorite. It's Guram Kutateladze, who sits at minus 600. He's a nasty wide favorite, but still had to bring him up here. I am extremely confident that he beats Elves Brenner. And looking at Guram to win, something that's interesting is Guram to get it done by decision is my official call at plus 135. But like him to get a finish is not impossible here. And I do believe if Kutateladze was to put it together and get a finish, it would be potentially in round 3. Round 3 finish for him is plus 650. TKO in round 3 plus 775. Just two things to read off. Not telling you guys go run out and play the round 3 prop. But something I was thinking about is Guram could put his strikes together and beat on an Elves Brenner, wear him down, and then stop him. Yes, the money line is horrible, but Guram is a staple parlay piece. Elves Brenner is going to be outmatched significantly. He's tough. He's got potential in this game, but Guram is a different level than him and is going to put it on him. We saw what Zubaira Tukhugov was able to do with Elves Brenner, and that, to me, was a close split decision win. Granted, they gave it to Brenner, and now he's jumping up to Guram, who fought against Mateusz Gamrot, who fought against Damir Ismagulov. Guram Kutateladze, super high confidence pick. He's getting it done. Next one is going to be a little bit of a better line here. Rinat Fakhretdinov at minus 190. I like Rinat Fakhretdinov to beat Kevin Lee. I think Lee's going to be really undersized here. I think this is a matchup where he's not going to be able to have offensive wrestling success, and I actually think he's put on his back potentially here. And in the striking, sure, Kevin Lee's fairly quick, but Rinat is going to have more power than him, and I think is going to be able to tie him up in the clinch, drag him down. Rinat's striking's not bad at all. Kevin Lee, to me, is undersized for 170, and now you're throwing him a former middleweight. I think Fakhretdinov should beat up Kevin Lee. I think 3 rounds of work, he gets it done. Unanimous decision. Rinat's a guy that's cool with grinding his way to wins, like a little bit like John Fitch style. He'll stay on top, pepper you with some shots, beat you up. He doesn't need to rush a finish. So, propping things up here, sure, Rinat has the power to get a knockout. It's not impossible. It sits at plus 500. But realistically, I more so see decision at plus 165. Lee has been submitted, though. So, you know what? Fakhretdinov by sub at plus 500 is intriguing. Because Kevin Lee fighting someone with good top pressure, if they can pass, I think an arm triangle by Fakhretdinov potentially is live here. I think Lee could struggle in that position. But I don't think Lee is beating Rinat Fakhretdinov. I think Fakhretdinov, high confidence pick, is going to get it done, and I think he deserves to be the favorite. Now, there's an honorable mention. To be honest, Joanderson Brito is an extremely high confidence pick. I would say there's minimal chance that he loses, but over the minus 1,000 line, I'm really not including him in this section. I will talk a little bit about the Joanderson Brito fight in the prop/value bet section because I have a line within that fight that I think is worth it. But we're not going to put him here in most confident picks, though he is a most confident pick. I hope you guys like the slate that I'm reading off here for the most confident pick section. Let's jump over to the favorite underdogs. All right, so we got 2 favorite underdogs on the screen. We got Nursultan Rizibov and we got Ariane Lipski. Lipski is plus 195 as a dog. She opened up at just plus 130. Nursultan Rizibov sits at plus 165. He opened up at minus 110. Let's first talk about Nursultan Rizibov, who's fighting Bruno Ferreira, who's a tank of a power puncher. Yes, 100%, but has not gone over a round and a half ever. And he's at a 6-inch height disadvantage. Nursultan Rizibov has to survive a powerful storm by Ferreira. Ultimately, Ferreira hits with a ton of power, but I don't think he's the most crisp boxer in the UFC, enough so that he's just going to pick Nursultan Rizibov apart. I think he has trouble closing the gap, potentially wins the first round. I don't know how the gas tank's going to look after, but I know Rizibov, going into his 47th pro fight here against Bruno Ferreira, is going to be ready to go distance, going to be ready to go long, and he's going to shine when he gets a hold of him and gets him to the ground. Rizibov submission, the official prediction. Now he's a solid underdog. I'm looking at the line spread into plus 185 right now. Huge underdog now. I guess not huge, but relatively large. Submission win for Rizibov plus 500. It's 5-1, but I'm expecting him to sub Bruno Ferreira in the second or third round. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. Let's look at round props. Let's see, round 2 win for Rizibov plus 1,000. Round 3 sits at plus 1,200. That's where I see him shining, is in the second or third round. So riding Rizibov by the sub. I like the length. Yeah, he knocked out RoboCop, being Bruno Ferreira, right? But he was still getting touched up that fight. And Ferreira sat on a punch beautifully. And Rodriguez, RoboCop, sitting inside, head there, clocked, slept. Very different style. To me, Ferreira is going to struggle with somebody who's incredibly long, lanky, thin type build. That's the grappler that gives him problems, not the buff guy like him in RoboCop last time out with Gregory Rodriguez. That's why Rodriguez wasn't able to really get any control on the ground. He doesn't have the length, man. Rizibov's got that length. I'm telling you, it's going to come into play here. I love him as an underdog. Next one is Ariane Lipski. I think Lipski is very live to beat Melissa Gatto. To me, she's the better striker, and she's going to be able to defend the grappling attacks. Lipski's plus 195. I think she has fairly strong takedown defense, and if you look at Lipski, yeah, she's taken some bad L's in the UFC, but the potential's always kind of been there, and I feel like Melissa Gatto's a little bit slow with the hands. I'd say average or sub-average boxing. Good kicker. Good jiu-jitsu from the bottom. Lipski's never been submitted. Lipski's going to be too athletic and strong for her, and I think her hands are going to play a big factor in this fight. Money line, plus 195. That would be the only side to touch. Ultimately, we could say, yo, I think Lipski's live for a KO. Lipski by knockout, plus 1,400. The line is crazy. And, it's possible, but it's not an easy method of victory. Now, Lipski to win it by decision, plus 240. Money line's the A side. Knockout is the juicy Hail Mary prop value side. But I like the money line. I like Lipski. I like her to get it done. Plus 195 range, I think, is a tremendous tag. And if you're playing the, plus 1,000 or more knockout prop, it's not a horrible play as far as, possibility. I mean, I think there's definitely a chance she could put her hands together and sleep her. And plus 1,400 just seems oddly wide to me. So I think that's worth a little sprinkle in this fight. I think it's worth it. Sprinkle a little something on it. I think it's going to come through. So for the favorite underdogs, we got Nursultan Rizibov and we got Ariane Lipski, two of my favorite dogs. That's going to lead us into the dog lock of the week.
Fighting out of Sofia, Bulgaria,
Blagoy Ivanov, dog lock this week. Riding with him over Alexander Romanov. It is an interesting circumstance, right? Because Alexander Romanov, when you see him at 235, looks very good. At 265, he looked like a straight bag of dog shit against Alexander Volkov last time and quit after failing a takedown attempt in 2 minutes. Granted, Volkov kind of grabbed the cage, don't matter. Blagoy Ivanov is a guy that can go long, that has been in there with top names, that has zero quit in him. Romanov showed us last time it ain't going his way. He wanted out of the fight. Comes in at 265 looking horrible. He still lost to Marcin Tybura even when he was slender at like 239. 265, he looked fatter than hell. To be honest, I want to see weigh-ins for sure here. I'm still confident Blagoy's going to beat him. But coming in at 265 again for Romanov, we know he has 3 minutes of gas. And Blagoy Ivanov has been finished once as a pro many, many years ago. It was 9 years ago in 2014 against Alexander Volkov, who actually just destroyed Romanov. Kind of interesting there. Blagoy's been in there with everybody. I feel like you got to respect his combat sambo background. Blagoy is a guy that never looks amazing when he fights, but he's consistent. He's there. Romanov mentally seems to have had lapses. I very much am concerned with a guy who broke in 2 minutes and looked exhausted, didn't seem to train for that last fight. He even in fights where he had to dig deep against Juan Espino, he lucked out that fight, was called off and it was a technical decision, because I really feel like he's going to struggle against someone that can stop takedowns, and even if they are taken down, isn't able to be bullied. I mean, Ivanov beat Fedor in combat sambo. He has, a high-level background there. We know he's competent with his grappling. I think that Romanov is in for hell in this stylistic matchup, especially with the approach that he brings to fight. And he thinks he's running everybody over and he's going to go crazy for a first-round stoppage. Blagoy Ivanov is not that guy to try to do that to. Now, could Romanov somehow evolve and, totally change up his game plan? Sure. in hypotheticals. But realistically, Alexander Romanov is going to be who he is. And he's a guy that goes really hard early. If he comes in above 250 pounds, his gas tank sucks. And Alexander Romanov, I think, is getting TKO'd. Plus 115 for Blagoy Ivanov. Looking at Blagoy, I mean, we know he can, be competent. He does it all. Blagoy is good everywhere, and he's got incredible heart. The man came back from getting stabbed, for fuck's sake. Ivanov by TKO, plus 550. I do think there's a real chance he TKOs him. What's Ivanov inside distance? Plus 315, and Ivanov sub plus 650. It'd be kind of crazy if he ended up subbing Romanov, but I could kind of see Romanov failing takedowns early or even getting one, and then Blagoy giving him difficulties getting up to his feet, and then him just fatigued, punches coming at him, and he just turtles up, and Blagoy TKOs him against the cage. I'm going Blagoy Ivanov, TKO. We're going the dog lock section. We're going Ivanov for the W. Let's ride with it, man. I'm looking forward to it. Now, I want to jump to the props/value bet section, and let's talk about some of those here. So the one that I really wanted to bring up, value is kind of dipped, but the under 1.5, it's minus 275 in the Brito fight, incredibly likely. Also, looking at Brito by submission, plus 200. I think he's live for the club and sub. I think he's going to hurt his opponent and then strangle him, being Weston Wilson. Wilson's real long, man, but the chin is there to be hit. And I think on the ground, Brito is levels above of the karate fighter. So plus 200 sub is something interesting. Obviously, Brito's a confident pick. He should win it inside of the distance. That line sits at minus 475. That's expected to happen. You think Brito wins it in the first round? Brito round one sitting at minus 215. The line is horrible. I'm expecting him to get it done in the first. He takes out Weston Wilson. Now, I also think that the over in the Yana Santos and the Carajosa fight is good. Over 2.5. I know minus 300 is not a great tag, and I just wanted to bring this up because I think it's something worth mentioning that will lead us into the parlay segment, because I expect that fight to be one of them that you could parlay up and the ladies go long as they normally do. So without further ado, let's just jump into the parlays. I already got the over in the Rosa and Santos fight loaded up on my slate here. I got Garam, Renat Fakhretdinov in the over. That sits at plus 130. If you're not crazy about Fakhretdinov and you're like, listen, I think I'm riding with you on, your most confident pick, Damir Ismagulov, value to confidence through the roof right there, plus 190. If you want to then try to dog things up, maybe you agree that Blagoy Ivanov TKOs Romanov. Granted, if Romanov shows up at 235, lean as fuck, then, your confidence might dwindle a bit. But if not, that one right there, plus 500 range is pretty solid. I like this one with Renat too. I like the high confidence, man. If you don't like the Yana fight, even though it's still a great play, still plus 240 range. I think that's a quality parlay. I do kind of want to go a little bit crazy and try to make some magic happen. So I'm going to put this over back in. Let's go nuts with it for a second. Let's go Brito under. Why not? Let's fucking load our whole slate up here. Garam, Brito under. And let's see here. I gotta bring up my notes here. All right, yeah. Where's Bonfim at? Where's my guy Bonfim? There he is. Bonfim to win too. High confidence props, or rather high confidence over/unders, high confidence picks. I mean, I think Nursultan Rizibov, another great play, plus 2,000. He's a high confidence dog. Blagoy Ivanov, you add him to your slate. Especially, this is good post weigh-in. You see Romanov looking fat. You know that Blagoy's coming to kill him. Plus 4,000. Can you imagine this is the heavy hitter? Is this the heavy hitter of the week? Fuck it. Plus 14,119. Yes, this is crazy, but crazy shit happens in the fight game, and I got to throw some chaos at you. Obviously, you guys know the safety side of the parlays would be to put some high confidence picks on there, a Renat Fakhretdinov and a Damir Ismagulov. Go OV action. You want to go Blagoy 2, go the triple OV for the victory, plus 526. I like this one a lot. I think this one's a good one to finish out the parlay section with. Be intelligent with your parlays. be cautious with your bets. I think UFC Vegas 75 is a great card. Unfortunately, I won't be live. I'm going out of town this weekend, enjoying some family time for the 4th of July holiday stateside, which I'm looking forward to. But the content dropping per usual. This week's best MMA bets. I hope you guys enjoy. Definitely let me know what you thought of the picks. Let me know what your lock of the week is, your dog lock, your most confident pick on the card. I appreciate everybody tuning in. If you got nothing to say in those comments, drop a W in the chat to boost the algorithm for your boy. Much love, people. Smash the likes. If you're new, subscribe. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace, everybody.